Hi everybody, I am Miss Thornton. If you are here, then that means you're either in my pre-AP biology course or my environmental science course. I'm going to go through both. Some slides will be for just pre-AP kids and families, and then some will just be for environmental science folk. So just listen up for you. All right, so a little bit about me. I'm a dog mom, number one. That's my baby, my almost 3-year-old German Shepherd. And I recently got married in April, so that's now my husband, Jordan. Originally, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, but we moved to Florida when I was really young, so I'm basically a Floridian. Grew up in Orlando. And I graduated from USF St. Petersburg with my bachelor's in biology, and concentration in biomedical sciences back in 2013. And then I just recently graduated again with my master's in STEM education back in May. So if you are in my pre-AP biology course, this is just a little background knowledge about what the course is about. So it's an introductory course that invites all students to learn, grow, and succeed through focused content and instruction and targeted assessments for learning. So this course will emphasize the necessary 21st century skills needed to succeed in college and career. So on the syllabus that I sent home with students, it outlines things like areas of focus and shared principles that highlight those skills that we'll really be focusing in on this school year. And if you're in the environmental science course, then you'll be studying the physical, chemical, and biological processes that take place on Earth, as well as the social, political, and cultural processes which impact the planet. So we'll be talking about all the environmental science policies, and we'll talk about different aspects of the environment and how taking what we know about the environment and things that are being done to the environment, and we'll talk about how that impacts us here. Supplies. So kids will need a science notebook, so a composition notebook. I'm okay with spiral, they just aren't as durable. So a composition notebook, if they don't have one already, I do supply some too. So if you notice that your student needs one, then just holler at me. They will need their laptops, so our assessments will be on the computer, so they will need a laptop almost every day they come to class, especially if they don't bring it every day. I will definitely remind them to bring it on assessment days, because that's where they take their tests. Pens, pencils, all this other stuff is pretty optional. If they're going to bring their laptops, I would say even bring their chargers, because sometimes, the battery life isn't that great on it. Canvas. So we are still using Canvas, and that's mostly where I upload anything that we do in class. So the notes are there, the assignments, especially if the student is absent, they can access Canvas and get the notes, get the assignments and homework, and then of course that's also where they're going to be taking their tests, is on Canvas. So for my pre-AP biology students, they will be focusing on 4 major ideas, which is the process of evolution, which drives the diversity of life, growth and reproduction in biological systems, which are dependent upon the cycling of matter and the transformation of energy, biological systems that occur at various scales, respond and adapt to stimuli in order to maintain homeostasis, and then the last unit will be looking at genetic mechanisms for maintaining biological systems. So the first unit is on mostly ecology. The last one goes to genetics, and we'll talk about other things like cells and evolution. So Unit 2 is on evolution, Unit 3 is on cells, and then Unit 4 is the genetics. So there's only 4 units, but they're fairly long. Environmental science content, there are 10 units here. So we have just gotten to our second topic on the study of environmental science, and then we'll move on to ecosystem dynamics, biodiversity, populations, water and land resources, energy resources, waste management. We'll talk about the atmosphere, and then we'll end the unit off on hazards and human health. So assessments, exams. So bio students will be taking the EOC at the end of the year, which is a state required test. But they also have other things like midterms, and then our unit tests, which we call performance tasks. And then they'll have quizzes in between topics that we talk about called learning checkpoints. Now the learning checkpoints are going to be all from pre-AP. So they should have, which is on College Board, so they should have a My Pre-AP classroom login. And if not, then I can work with your student to be able to get that. But if the student has a pre-AP course, it's likely that they have multiple, so they should already have their login and password, which is different from their R2D2. But if not, if this all sounds very new, I can work with your student to make sure that they have what they need to log into College Board. And their performance tasks will be on Canvas. So there are 2 sites. It's kind of a lot, but we'll get through it. And then for my environmental students, we'll take a comprehensive final exam at the end of the school year, along with throughout the year, we'll have quizzes, unit tests, and cycle assessments, and a midterm, which will be on Canvas. Besides the midterm, that'll be on possibly paper, I'm not sure yet. Grading. So you will notice that in Focus, there are just letter grades because that's reflective of what they see on the report cards. So I do a 50-50 policy, 50% assessments, 50% assignment. They are all based on a rubric. So if you click on the actual assignment, you will see that there's an attachment and there's always a rubric that has a point scale. So let's say that a student gets an assignment and they've scored a C or lower or a B, right? And they really want an A. The criteria is outlined, so they can always go back and redo the assignment, making sure that they hit all the criteria to get an A. So I don't leave it up for mystery or any confusion. I let the students know this is exactly what you need to do to make sure that you succeed. I do accept late work for the grading period a week before that grades are due. That'll be the last time, or the end of which I take late work. I don't take it at any points off. If they do the work, I'm going to grade it. I don't do retakes for quizzes because they aren't worth that much points, but I will do retakes for assessments, but there are some criteria that they have to make sure that they adhere to. So all the assignments within a module or within their notebooks that we've done for that unit has to be completed because I need to know that they know what they need to know. And then they have to have completed at least one test-taking strategy with proof of completion. So that can be flashcards, that can be I completed a Quizlet, I did a Kahoot, or I went back and annotated my notes. So I need to be able to see that they've studied and that they're ready to retake the test. These are just some of my classroom policies, the normal: be respectful, listen to all adults and peers, be responsible, stay on task, always do your best. Of course, cell phones, we will use them sometimes in class, but if we can encourage the students to stay off of them as much as possible, so that way they are engaged, they're focused, and they don't miss anything. Classroom procedures, so when your student walks in, they sit in their assigned seat, they get their notebooks out, start on their warm-up, complete their warm-up, and then if they need to write in their agenda of any homework that we have, usually homework is finish what you didn't finish in class, which can be found on Canvas. So if you ever have any questions about homework, that's basically it. If your student is absent, like I said, Canvas, and I try to keep it fairly simple, so the only thing that they have to click on is modules, and I set it up to where you know where the notes are, you know where the assignments are, and if for some reason that the grade is an F or 0 in Focus, then you know that that's a missing assignment, and the student will just go to Canvas and they can print it out or they can email it to me. Either way is fine. But everything can be found readily available on Canvas. If there is a sub, there is a plan, and it will all be on Canvas if I haven't been able to print it out. So, you know, it's still the same rules apply as if I was here. As far as behavior, I am very adamant about handling things within my room before getting administration involved. So I have what's called a behavior agreement form. So it starts off with 3 verbal warnings that are documented. Then we'll do some classroom consequences like changing seat, I'll call home so we can talk. From there, the student will write a behavior statement of how that student and I can work together to make sure that they're successful in my class. Then it gets sent home. I sign it, the student signs it, parent or guardian signs it, and then it comes back to me. And then from there, which is rare, if the behavior continues, then at that point I will write a referral and get administration involved. But as you can see, there's a lot of stuff that I do prior to that happening. And here is my contact information. So I can be contacted on Canvas, on Focus, but the best way truly to reach me is my email, and that's Thornton, THORNTONJU @pcsb.org. That is the best way to reach me because it's so much faster. Focus Messenger doesn't always link up to my email for some odd reason. So unless like I'm at school and I'm, you know, taking attendance, then that's the only time I'll see Focus. So there's kind of like a lag between it. But Canvas Messenger is good, or the inbox on Canvas. And then my email, my direct email is great. So I do want to show Canvas just so you can see how it's set up in case you ever have to go on there for your student, or if your student has to go on there so you can kind of like follow along with what they have to do. So I'm going to go to my AP Bio. So this is what it looks like, and I'll do the student view. So this is what it'll look like on your student's end. And these link to things. The only thing that they really need to pay attention to is announcements and modules. So modules being the primary one. So our syllabus is there. And then we just finished the study of biology. So they did have some notes and an assignment. And now we're working on Unit 1. So their scale and PowerPoint is there. And I do upload the PowerPoint that we go over in class. So the notes are also there too. And then the notes and then whatever assignments we do for the unit will be there as well. So fairly straightforward. They just click on it, print it out, or write it down in their notebook, whichever works for them. But yeah, that's all I got.